received notice from the town 7 days in advance and never heard of this prior to that. It just seems to me there was probably ample time to reach out and have some level of communication so that everyone could understand maybe what some of the consequences were. I think at this point in time, we know from tonight's hearing that the consequences may not be fully understood because the plan isn't fully baked. The plan is subject to change based on requests for future structures and future requests. I know that as a result of Mr. Salisbury sending this letter to the town, the applicant reached out to Mr. Salisbury on Sunday evening, and they agreed that they would meet once Mr. Salisbury got back into town this coming week. So there's already an agreement for them to kind of walk through the property, take a look at the plans, and so that there can be full understanding of any consequences, not just the consequences identified here in the letter. I think that his right to do that and understanding this certainly should not be subordinated by this half-baked request. I would also like to add the obvious that the applicant bought the property knowing the circumstances, and that he opted not to reach out to the neighbors in advance and try to avoid a delay, which we're asking for. We're asking for a continuance. And that again, they agreed to meet this coming week to walk through and more thoroughly understand any potential consequences. Given this, we would simply request that ample time be given to communicate and understand the consequences, and maybe even suggest a more fully complete set of plans so that everyone can understand what the issues are. Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
I'll,
Just more staff. There's still other unresolved things as far as staff is concerned.
Well, there's
Questions on these plans?
no, but it would need to come back to you for if they were to proceed with the plans as proposed. They obviously need to submit a full building permit set. We can't issue these for construction.
Funny how that works.
Another question. All the other neighbors obviously were noticed as well?
We did mail the 500-foot notice,
Yeah.
and I did not hear from other neighbors.
Okay, thank you.
question of the architect, will your life be in hazard if we continue this for a month?
That's an extreme way to put it, but yeah, I mean, it would cause a delay on the, from the client's point of view. They would probably suspend the project, impacting the overall project schedule, which might be a burden on them. They won't pay us to continue to design a project based on it's speculation whether or not this will or will not pass, although I'm fairly certain it will. Hopeful.
Hopeful. Leave it at that. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, public hearing is closed. Commissioners, your pleasure.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I visited the site on Tuesday, walking around. My first impression was these folks bought the property knowing exactly where the setback lines were. Why don't we make them adhere to it? Now I hear there's a possible arrangement with the neighbor and further design, so I would withhold that, and I would accept a postponement and reschedule for our next regular meeting.
Okay.
You know, it's a goofy shaped flag lot. We get these all the time. There's the redesignation all the time with setbacks. You know, the accessory structures and things have to fall in somebody's yard. I don't, you know, if everybody around the back said, oh, I don't want to be in the side setback, I don't want to be in the backyard, I don't know how you orient a property. So I don't see any problem. You got the driveway, you've got the front yard, either here or here. You have two choices. You know, you want to put the garage near the driveway. You know, it all seems reasonable. The adjacent neighbors are concerned about a pool house, but really we're talking about tens of feet forward or back as to where it can be located based on where the property line is going to fall. It's going to end up 10 feet from the property line anyway. with an accessory structure. So I see it as a run-of-the-mill redesignation like we've done countless times before, so I have no problem with it. I don't see that continuance is necessary. I would go for it.
I think I visited the property also, and I think I would ditto my colleague Phil Lively's comments that I just can't buy the argument at this point, so. Okay, Chief,
Well,
here's a potato.
I happen to agree with Christie. I think we've been pretty lenient in allowing people on flag lots to change the designation of front and rear and side and so forth. And I think we're going to take another look at this. If any of the heritage trees, perhaps any of the buildings that that the applicant might think of, so we get another chance to take a look at it. But at this point, I would move to approve it. However, since it's going to be a 2-2 vote, I would also suggest a month's continuance as being the better part of valor in this.
I make a motion that we continue this to our next regular meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll vote for it, though I think this is going a little further. No, I assume Christie?
I go.
Yeah, and I would, I don't want to see the whole thing die because it's of a 2-2 tie. So I would change my position to support a month's continuance, although I agree with the no vote. So we'll be back again in a month.
Thank you. Make a motion to adjourn.
Sorry, I ran out of
Oh, I have to tell you that you can.
I'll second.
And maybe some.
There's a second to the motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
Thank you.
You like it?